Hi, Sagittarius, and welcome to January 2021's reading. Happy New Year, or happy whenever you arrive. It's my first time actually doing monthly readings, so bear with me. We're going to jump right in and start with a poem, and then I'm going to read a little story. Dear, so gentle and loving you are, the flower of kindness and embrace from afar. So no matter near or far, you can always send your love to someone. Send your energy to someone. Never forget that. So the deer is all about gentleness. I'm going to read a little story. One day, Fawn heard Great Spirit calling to her from the top of Sacred Mountain. Fawn immediately started up the trail. She didn't know that a horrible demon guarded the way to Great Spirit's lodge. The demon was trying to keep all the beings of creation from connecting with Great Spirit. He wanted all of Great Spirit's creatures to feel that Great Spirit didn't want to be disturbed. This would make the demon feel powerful and capable of causing them to fear him, kind of like the world today. Fawn was not at all frightened when she came upon the demon. This was curious, as the demon was the archetype of all the ugly monsters that have ever been. The demon breathed fire and smoke and made disgusting sounds to frighten Fawn. Any normal creature would have fled or died on the spot from fright. Fawn, however, said gently to the demon, "Please let me pass. I'm on the way to see Great Spirit." Fawn's eyes were filled with love and compassion for this oversized bully of a demon. The demon was astounded by Fawn's lack of fear. No matter how he tried, he could not frighten Fawn because her love had penetrated his hard and ugly heart. Much to the demon's dismay, his rock-hard heart began to melt and his body shrank to the size of a walnut. Fawn's persistent love and gentleness had caused the meltdown of the demon. Due to this gentleness and caring that Fawn embodied, the pathway is now clear for all of Great Spirit's children to reach Sacred Mountain without having to feel the demons of fear blocking their way. So, Deer teaches us the power of gentleness to touch hearts and minds of wounded beings who are trying to keep us from Sacred Mountain. Like the dappling of Fawn's coat, both the light and the dark may be loved to create gentleness and safety for those who are seeking peace. If Deer had gently nugged its way to your cards today, you are being asked to find gentleness of spirit that heals all wounds. Stop pushing so hard to get others to change and love them as they are. Apply gentleness to your present situation and become like the summer breeze, warm and caring. This is your tool for solving the present dilemma you are facing. If you use it, you will connect with Sacred Mountain, your centering place of serenity, and Great Spirit will guide you. This also reminds me of the serenity prayer. Like, we can't change a situation when we can't change a person. We have to learn to accept them, and that prayer helps. This also has a lot to do with helping others, because you also got the raccoon, and the raccoon is, he's like the provider, okay? So, and he's a generous protector. The raccoon, like, there's certain medicine. This is the medicine book. Oh, you can't really see it. This lighting is not very good. So, yeah, sorry about that. But, this is saying that you may be asked to connect with, your inner warrior, And that's also like the deer story. Like that deer had to be connected with his her inner warrior self, in order to pass the demon. And that's also telling you to, even if someone's mean to us, to love them. That's also the karma, you want to love, you give love, you get what you give. Even if someone's being mean, you can't, I always tell my kids, you can't fight evil with evil. So, that's one thing we need to know. Also, the raccoons, I never knew this, but raccoons, unlike any humans, well, unlike the majority of humans, and unlike most of the animal creatures, the raccoons, like, if they're going on a hunt, they'll have, like, one raccoon, usually the dominant male, be, like, the watcher, and all the raccoons would go and hunt for the trash and hunt for food. So they would pick their best gatherings and give it to the watcher as, like, thank you, as, like, they know that it's the circle of giving, and generosity comes around full circle, always to reward the giver. So, yeah, I didn't know that. And this is also teaches us, the universal law of giving back to the source of your strength, guidance, and protection. Like, what gives you love and protection and joy, and what are you going to give them in return? So remember to give back, because you also got the moon, and the moose, and the moose in reverse. So that's like, more so like your ego, and not being thankful for someone's generosity. Like, tooting your own horn, you might be like talking about yourself, and this could put out the impression that you're uninterested in others. So it's very important not to do that, to learn that wisdom, because ego can ruin your sense of accomplishment as well. There's also like this growth that we're growing, and like an internal growth, and this is an external growth, but internally the advice would be to do this silently, so that way when the timing is right, when it's the proper timing, you're able to speak with wisdom and speak with pride, because you actually know what you're talking about. So maybe there's some evidence or knowledge that we need to learn, something we need to go in. Maybe we need to go in a book and read before we explain something to someone. But there's definitely a situation where you are the helper. You are providing the needs for someone else, whether you take them in, whether you're doing something for somebody else to help them. And you have a way of doing so without them being dependent upon you, or without them like feeling a victim, so, or becoming like a dependent on you. So that's good. We want to keep that up. Just know that to be thankful, because we can learn from anyone, any situation. Even if they're like a child, you might say, oh, like, I'm not going to learn from someone who's younger than me, but maybe someone who's younger than you has knowledge, and you're like, oh, like, I'm not listening because they don't know. But be open ears and open minded, because somebody has something to teach you. You have something to learn from somebody that's unexpected, that you won't normally learn from. So, moving along, I received these awesome new cards. Materia prima. You can't really see it again. But they're really cool because it's all the elements of the periodic table. And each card, they all have gold. But what's really cool about it is each card is connected to the other card. Like the one before it, they go like all together. And if you line them all out in order, it forms the periodic table. And all the elements in order. Now, when I did your Sagittarius for January 2021, or for whenever you receive this message, we got technesium. Technesium. This stinks. Masked man. Now, it's masked because it's artificial. This material, this element here, which all elements are atoms. They're one atom. And this atom, this element, technetium, is very, radioactive. It's, they use it for, like, cancer patients. It's very, what is the word I'm looking for? But it's technetium in Greek means artificial or fake. And the reason why they say this is because it was man-made. It was created. Now, all these elements on the periodic table were put together in order by Dmitri Mendelov. Is that his name? Yeah, I think it's... Yeah, I know it's Mendelov. I forget I think it's Dmitri Mendelov. Anyway, he totally changed the way chemists viewed their discipline, because now each element had its number and fixed position on this grid, this table. And from this, it became possible to predict their behavior, to predict how it would react, how it would combine with another, how it would, like what physical properties it would have. And the funny thing is Mendelov, when he created this table, he didn't know how to do it until he had this dream. And then when he had a dream, he actually wrote down all of them in this order by weight. And in this table, he actually left gaps or spaces empty, because he figured out that with all these in order, there's a pattern. And if this pattern was right, then there would be an element here and then here or wherever he left the space. So he was that convinced or that sure of his prediction that he left the spaces in the periodic table for these elements. And technetium is one of them elements. There were 10 elements, and out of them 10 elements, all 8 were found. There are 2 still undiscovered, I think. I'm not sure, don't quote me on that, but I'm almost positive. But technetium was one of them, and I think it's number 43 on the periodic table, and the weight is 98.907. And I think this is telling us that if we put our life or a certain situation or whatever dilemma or issue, or even it doesn't even have to be an issue, any situation, if we take down and take these parts and put them in order, we'll be able to see what comes next by doing this. If you have to write it down or do some brainstorming, whatever you have to do in order to see the pattern or to see like what comes next. Because you did get the Tower, and in reverse, some people say, oh, the Tower is so horrible, but it's actually a really, really good thing. It's more like a spiritual thing, I think, but there's some kind of loss that causes heartbreak or like a destruction that causes some kind of heartbreak, but this is something that it's like a blessing that you're not seeing. Like, all you're seeing is the ruins, when you're not seeing the fact that this tower that we were building was like crooked or lopsided. It wasn't right. So that's why it fell. So this gives us the chance to rebuild and rebuild it sturdy and straight, so that way it won't crumble next time. Now, when it's in reverse, it means that that's coming, or that it's going to fall, just not as bad, not as like disturbing. But just know that you have all the tools, you have all the power, you have everything you need to defeat this or to succeed in this. You're probably going to have to stand up for someone or fight for someone or be help for someone else. We let our guard down here, and there is some kind of back and forth. It's becoming to be more like, okay, we need to come up with a plan. Definitely need to come up with a plan, because everything's unorganized. We may be, like, we might receive some news that isn't good. Maybe that's it. And we're holding on, like, we have, like, unanswered questions. But, new relationships, or this is causes new relationships or new friendships or something new emotionally that's gonna help you emotionally out of this. Like I said, it's like a blessing in disguise. So know that through every negative there's a positive. So we always look at the situation as a whole, like put it all out as a whole so you can see, you know. And be careful to make the right choice. We want to look at all the factors. Like I said, even if we have to write down, make sure we're doing it positively. Like, people don't write anymore. They use the phone and the computers. And writing is so powerful. You know, writing, that's why they call it spelling. Because it's magic. Like, that's how, like, each line is, each line connected with another line, it creates a symbol, and each symbol means something. This meaning or intention, even a thought, even that thought vibrates into the universe, and it becomes a seed, and it's up to you to germinate that seed. When you speak it, then you can actually crack that shell for germination, and then that forces you acting on it as the water and the sun, forces that situation to grow. So remember, you have all the power here. You have all the tools. You can do everything. There also could be someone around you, like a con man or a con artist. It doesn't necessarily have to be a man. It could be a woman. So just watch that they don't feed you bullshit. Like I said, you want to look at all the facts and all the details, and definitely follow your gut. And we want to prepare. I'm a big prepper, so I'm always going to tell you to prep, to be prepared for any situation. We don't want to be frugal with our money. We want to be wise. Don't be like spending. Now's not the time to gamble. Them situations like that. Like, you usually gamble like this week or this month. Not a good time to gamble. We want to focus on going forward. And remember about the, what is that burnt, went on fire and came in the ash, the phoenix. Went into the ashes and it came out the phoenix. So this is like your situation where you have to like burn everything down to ash, but fire's like purity. So when you're doing that, you're purifying yourself. So that way you can come out better, stronger, wiser. Alright, yeah, magic. Definitely heartbreak. And definitely action. I'm going to take action. Yeah, there's definitely treasures. These cards are so beautiful. Treasures. And so colorful. Let's see. Treasures. There's like little quotes in here too, so let's see what Treasure's little quote says. We start with a quote, we'll end with a quote. How about it? Alright, it says, we can only be said to be truly alive in those moments when our hearts are conscious of our treasures. So, I'll repeat that, because how funny, this goes along with everything. We can only be said to be truly alive in those moments when our hearts are conscious of our treasures. By Thornton Wilder. Alright. Strive for peace as you would an oasis in the desert. In times of trouble, we release the true value of harmony. Love, comfort, compassion, and trusted companion, a kind stranger. The treasures of the world are within your reach. What value can you bring to the world today? So your affirmation, you're supposed to say is, I treasure peace. I work for peace. Peace fulfills me. I reach for love as it reaches for me. My heart is a treasure chest of beauty and riches. As I give of my treasures, I am replenished. My value is inherited and recognized. My actions are rewarded. So it's going to be saying, like, if you're unhappy or if you're, like, heartbroken in a bad situation, that helping someone else could actually benefit you, could actually help you. So, and definitely be grateful for what you have. Like, know that your treasures are right in front of you, and to be thankful so we can be truly alive and live. All right, Sagittarius, thank you so much for joining. Thank you so much. Just thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope this serves you well. And I look forward to seeing you next month. Mwah.